Hey everybody, I'm your host Gage Gall. Thank you for tuning in to Wilderness Wize this week. And we are headed out to beautiful Colorado on an early season archery elk hunt. This is part one of chasing ghosts into the timber. I'm Gage Gall. I didn't grow up on pavement. I grew up on dirt, blood, and cold mornings. Hunting and fishing weren't hobbies. They were how we filled the freezer. How we learned patience, respect, and how to survive. I learned those lessons alongside my family, with friends who became brothers, with stories that got passed around the campfire. Fewer people grow up that way now, and every year we are losing more than just hunters and anglers. We lose a connection. That's why I started Wilderness Wize, to bring people back to the woods, to pass down the kind of lessons that come from blood trails, missed shots, cold hands, and long nights tracking. You'll hear from the folks who taught me, bled with me, and still walk these woods today. So if you're ready to learn the hard way, the right way, lace up your boots, pour your coffee, and let's get wise. Rocky Mountain elk are probably one of the most sought after game animals in North America. Also one of the most challenging game animals to hunt DIY on public land. Now, with that being said, I am no expert on elk hunting, but I'll give it a whirl and try to share some knowledge that we found along the way. So buckle up, we're going to go after some elk. What's up, everybody? So as you can see from the time-lapse videos, we made it out here. Beautiful Colorado. Dad's getting dressed for the night. We're getting camp set up for tonight. Basically what our game plan is tomorrow is to go break into the backcountry and go find some sign for elk. But tonight we're just gonna chill here at the truck, try to get a little acclimated to the elevation. I think we're right somewhere around 9,500 to 10,000 feet right now. So we'll move off tomorrow. We'll go try to find these elk, and hopefully we can do something with it. Probably see a time lapse coming up of us trying to finish off putting camp together for the night. So stay tuned, we got a lot more in store for you. All right, Dad, tell the viewers what we're having for dinner.
So we're doing some beef stroganoff peak meals. We like, we're not sponsored of course by Peak, but we like the calories they contain for our efforts out here to resupply us, and they taste good, so we like going with those. But
all right, everybody, I'll show you camp tonight before we turn in. So this is camp. Does it look cozy? Absolutely not. Warm? It's debatable. Is he gonna work for the night? Absolutely. Hopefully it'll keep us dry, keep us warm ish, and we'll still be here to talk to you guys tomorrow morning. So have a good night. We'll talk with you in the morning. Well, folks, that was a chilly night. Current truck temperature says it's 32 degrees. There's actually frost if you look up here on the top of the tarp. Say that's probably pushing one of my worst night's sleep ever. Definitely could have been worse. Luckily our 10-degree bags held out halfway decent. We were up on and off throughout the night. We ended up moving around quite a bit in the bags to try to stay warm, but we're probably going to try a different sleep system out tonight, because I'd really hopefully rather try to stay just a smidgen warmer than cold all night long. Yeah, We're warming up in the truck a little bit right now. Or Dad is. I'm out here talking to you guys, but we're gonna warm up a little bit in the truck right now and get some breakfast in us. We're gonna get ready and go head up the mountain and go scout. Not sure if you guys can see that very well. That's an elk track walking right down this trail. So, good sign to start out. Like I said, we're just scouting today and scouting tomorrow. Season starts up. There's some droppings right there. So, seems like we're gonna be at least somewhere close to them. Hopefully we can get on top of them and make a play. All right, so let's talk about rubs. As you can see right here, it's a rub made by a bull elk. This is early September. Kind of gotta doubt that that's rutting activity. It could be, but this is old. I mean, this is, like, if you look really close up in here by my thumb, all the pine sap is dry. So it's an old rub. Doesn't mean the bull's not in the area still. But it's just that he hasn't hit this one recently. So when you see that and it's actually leaking the pine sap, that's when you know you're in the right area. And you're on bulls. So we're gonna keep moving. We're following this trail around. It's gonna lead us right into a burn. And we're gonna see what that looks like. Maybe do some glassing down through there. All right, so we're standing in a burn right here. All the way around me, you can see that this area is burnt. So, there's pluses and minuses to burns, right? A brand new burn, everything's gonna be burnt up. On a burn like this, you can see there's green glass behind me. There's flowers. The light finally gets down into the forest floor. So it actually opens up feeding opportunities while still having the cover of all these dead trees. So wildlife uses them. This year the west has been really dry, so they've had a few burns this year. Next couple years I would expect them to probably start producing some good habitat for elk and deer. But we want to be paying special attention to them transition zones. So if you can see behind me, we're moving into these pines, so we're gonna move super slow, super quiet. Trying to make sure we don't bump anything out here. So let's take a minute to talk a little about hydration. So you can see I've got my bladder. On this side I've also got about a liter of water. So it's about 2.5 liters of water in there. I've also got stuff that I can use to filter water up through here. When this circles back around, we'll end up back on a stream again. But super important, especially at high elevation, and if you're moving from low elevation to high elevation. You know, like us, we came from Michigan. We're coming out here in Michigan somewhere 400 to 1,000 feet above sea level. On like the top side, where we parked the truck last night was 10,003 feet in elevation. So big jumps. The air's thinner up here. You got to make sure you're hydrated. Dad was dealing with a headache last night. We're assuming it was from the elevation change, but make sure when you guys do this, you stay super hydrated. It's really hard, I know, on road trips especially, to stay hydrated, but you got to do it. All right, so we're sitting on the edge of this meadow right now, just hanging out. With as poor of sleep as we got last night, He needed a nap. So as you can see, Dad's over there taking a nap. I just woke up from mine. You guys didn't get to see it, but I stepped down into a water hole. If you look over this way, see my socks hanging up in a tree, and my boots are over there trying to dry out. So I'm gonna make some lunch real quick, and we'll keep going from there. Looks like there's a mosquito in my soup. Last thing I need to eat some mosquito because that doesn't sound very good. Well, once this water boils, we'll pour it into the peak meal. Looks like we're having chicken pesto pasta tonight, so, or this afternoon, so it should be good. Alright, so hopefully y'all can see that pretty well. That is night beds for an elk. We know that they're night beds because they're not in them right now. If they're day beds, they'd be in them. But those are night beds. They're out in where they come out here. They eat at night. They chew their cud just like a cow does. So it doesn't mean a lot for us other than we know they feed in this area. So if we needed to do an evening hunt, we could get on them in the evening. Hopefully right there in that area. As far as the morning goes, I'm gonna keep working down through here, checking some more areas to scout, and keep working through it. All right, so it's morning before opener. We stayed in the truck last night because we were not gonna freeze again. Thankfully we did. Looked like the tonneau cover was absolutely coated with frost this morning. So we're gonna go back in where we were yesterday, where we saw some good sign. What we're gonna actually do is, I think, hike past where we saw the sign, get in a little deeper, go try to find a good place to set up spike camp for the night, and we'll go find a way to hunt that transition zone tomorrow, first thing in the morning. Dad, you got anything you want to add?
Just looking forward to it. Just ready to have a bow in hand, and hopefully the elk participate and we can slam one tomorrow.
So, hoping for opening day success, but this is hunting, so never really know. But we're gonna drive over there and pack everything up and get ready to go in. All right, so we made it where we're gonna camp out. Gonna get camp set. Got about three-quarter mile back to where we want to hunt, and then from there, if we're not seeing stuff, we're at a pretty good point right now where we shouldn't have to move camp too much, and we can move around a little bit inside of this range. All right, everybody. This is it. Home away from home. So you can see Dad's still working in there trying to get his sleeping bag all set up. But that's it. This is where we're staying. I just got to get my bag packed back up. We'll throw the gear up underneath there with us tonight. Other than the food will go hang in a tree. You know, because I don't need a nighttime visit from a bear. So probably go out, seeing a couple nice vantage points where we can overlook some of these meadows that are below us. Not actually where we want to really super try to hunt, but you know, if there's elk there, you got to hunt where they're at. So there's serious potential for that. So other than that, we'll keep you posted. Probably sit down, have a snack or something here in a little bit, just chill out for a little bit and go from there. All right, so now we're gonna run down the stream. I got my bladder that I'm gonna fill up. Should get about a gallon worth of water in there, and then we'll go from there. Dad's currently looking for a place to hang up food. There. Pretty close. Try to take. All right, tell everybody what you saw.
So we're glassing these meadows and parks over here, trying to locate some elk, and I just happened to see a little dark spot, probably 500-600 yards away. But put the glass on it, and got a moose out there walking around feeding. So that was a pretty cool experience.
So at least we didn't get skunked. We did get to see a moose. So we got a couple more hours. Keep glassing. Let you guys know if we find anything. All right, everybody. Made it back to camp. Getting ready to hunker down for the night. Big day tomorrow. Opening day. So we're going to go see if we can make it happen. Good morning. It's opening day. We've already had a couple hiccups this morning. I just sprayed creek water on accident all over the inside and outside of my hydration bladder. So, luckily, I still got this Camelback water bottle. It holds a liter and a half of water, so we're still good there. Dad's been struggling all night, had a bloody nose, didn't get a lot of sleep. But either way, it's opening day. We're gonna go grind it out and go see if we can't get an elk on the ground. All right, so hopefully y'all could see the scat that we saw this morning. Uber fresh. I pushed in a little bit further, trying to get back to the truck to get a resupply of toilet paper. But pushed up a little bit on it. You could hear something moving, couldn't tell exactly what it was. For all I know, it could have been just a squirrel. But fingers crossed it's an elk. So we're back at camp right now. I wanted to bring the resupply of toilet paper back in. We're gonna eat something, maybe catch a quick cat nap. It's about 10 o'clock. Elk should be bedded, and then what we're gonna do is, as we're getting around here, we'll get up and we're gonna go still hunt some north faces with some benches on them. See if we can spot something moving slow through there. And then we'll probably end up, what do you think? End up on that meadow? Dad? He's not listening. Anyway, probably end up on that meadow where we thought we heard something kick up last night. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get on something. So, fact is, that night we did get on something sitting in that meadow. We got to see these two sow black bears with cubs. One at 100 yards, and one at about 80. And wouldn't you know it, it's the same night I left my bear spray back at the tent. But they caused us no harm and the wind was in our favor, so we had nothing to worry about. After the bears left, out stepped this gorgeous Shiraz moose. It was almost breathtaking how beautiful this moose actually was. Standing at 40 yards from me, you couldn't help but be overtaken by the wonders that this moose held. He actually stepped out 20 yards from my dad, quartering away. Unfortunately, we were not carrying moose tags, which is even more coveted than an elk tag in the state of Colorado. Alright, so made it back to camp. I don't know what time it is at this point. It was like 8:30 when we left the clearing that we were hunting. No elk still. Pretty cool night. Moose at like 40 yards. I think he was what, 20 for you?
25. I had him 25 quartering away. Boy, if I'd have had a moose tag.
So bear at 80. Another bear at about 120 from me. So pretty cool tonight. I think the only thing we didn't see tonight was a mountain lion or a
mule deer probably.
And a mule deer, so. But other than that, we're going to keep trucking tomorrow. We haven't quite made a game plan for tomorrow morning, but we'll talk about that as we eat dinner. And then we're going to crawl in and go to sleep. Well, good morning, everybody. As you can see, still daylight, and we are still in camp. Dad has been fighting these headaches that he's been getting at night for the past couple days. Last night was pretty bad. Not sure exactly what's going on, if it's the elevation or what. But we're gonna try to break camp here in the backcountry and make a game plan going forward. I think I got an idea on how we can do it. And still on the same area, but we'll just end up camped at lower elevation. I don't know, we'll see. It'll end up with us getting up a lot earlier. But we're gonna try something else and see what we can do. Alright, made it back to the truck. We're gonna roll down into town, swing into the Walmart, get some supplies, to switch the tactic on how we're camping. All right, so new camp location. Not nearly as backcountry-esque as the original. As you can see, road's right out there. It's pre-made fire pit, all the stuff that you normally find at the campground, just no running water or anything like that. Although there is a river right behind us, or a creek. So this is where we're at. It's about, what did I tell you earlier, 8,300 feet. So dropped about 2,000 feet, so hopefully that helps Dad with his altitude sickness. We're still going back up every day to go hunt the same area, but we're not camping at that location anymore. So we can run a little lighter pack, so that's a bonus. Our pack probably went from what, 30 pounds on a normal
bow and everything, it had to be 60.
Yeah. Is that with camp on the back, or is that after we dropped camp?
That's camp and everything.
Yeah. So we were probably pushing 60 pounds walking in with camp, probably running around with about 35-ish on a daily basis, carrying all the stuff that we needed to carry. So we're probably down to about 20 now, just basically day packs, which is basically all we're gonna do. We're just gonna camp here, we're gonna hunt up there all day and come back in the evening and park the truck and go from there. spend a little bit more gas, but if it makes Dad's head stop hurting, that's all the bonus. So, other than that, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna chill. You guys get some footage of that. I'm currently working on repacking my bag to tool it for more day pack stuff, and we'll go from there. All right, everybody. So this is where we sleep tonight. Probably for the rest of the week. In the cab of the pickup. Not the most comfortable for two guys that are over 6'3", but we'll make it work. So, got our sleeping bags pulled in. I grabbed the wool blanket to use as a pillow. Dad's got a sleeping bag over there. He's working on his word search right now. Back up in the morning. Should be about 3:15 a.m. That way we can get some coffee, some stuff taken care of, get our boots on, and get rolling up the mountain. Be at the trailhead by hopefully 4:30 in the woods shortly thereafter. So, we're going to bed. Take it easy. We will see you in the manana. Well, folks, got to the trailhead. It is cold up here. It's like 30, what did I say, 38 degrees? 38 degrees at the trailhead. This is where we're eating our breakfast of gummy bears and chocolate, or not chocolate covered, peanut butter filled pretzels. And then we're making coffee currently as we speak. It's a little chilly. We're gonna go try to get it done. Just got on top of a bench right now. Got some elk signs, some trails out here. Dad's stripping some layers off real quick. We're gonna have to watch the wind here pretty quick because we're gonna start seeing the thermal shift up. So as long as we are on the level where we think the elk are gonna be at, we should be all right. But who knows? We'll keep checking the wind as we move forward, make sure it's not blowing right at our backs or something like that. But yeah, we're gonna keep moving here shortly. So that's a pretty fresh rub. Made by an elk is what it looks like. Pretty big tree for it to be a deer. You see all the sap that's nice and shiny leaking out of it. That's a good indicator that it's fresh. So got a little change of scenery. originally sitting over a wallow. For those of you who don't know what a wallow is, elk will come down and wallow in water, in mud, to do a couple different things. Keep the flies off of them, cool down in the hot weather, and then during the rut, the bulls actually urinate in these wallows and will roll in that urine, and it's kind of like their cologne. It's kind of gross, but so wind shifted on us. We had to get out of there, so we didn't bugger anything out of there. So now we're actually sitting up on a vantage point, and we're going to glass over this opening where the wallow was actually at. So it's out here. To our surprise, another moose came up over the back side of this hill that was behind us into this burn. He was grunting on his way in, surprised both me and Dad. Alright, so we're back out here again, glassing this meadow with the wallow in it. So far not seeing anything. Got a little bit of a late jump this morning. Didn't get back to camp until about 10:30, I think is when we finally went to bed. So, back up at 3:30. Drove up here. We were just a little slow moving, so we're gonna have to fix that. It sounds like we're gonna have to run into town tomorrow. We'll get some more cooked fuel for the stove, so maybe just take the morning tomorrow, regroup. If we don't find elk today, maybe we can make a move, different drainage or something, see if we can find something else. Watching this, I'm starting to notice the discouragement in my voice. It's hard when you're in and feel like you're in an area where there should be elk, but no matter how many miles you're traveling, it's getting harder and harder to find them. Alright, so we found another wallow. We're going to sit over it for a little while. It just shifted on us. So we're kind of playing it right now. We'll see how it goes here shortly. We're going to probably be here for quite a while because normally the wallows get hit a little midday, late afternoon. So it's going to be a little bit of a wait, but hopefully it pays off. Alright, been about 4 hours. We sat on this wallow. We're going to get moving. Wind's going to shift on us here pretty quick. Start pulling the other direction, so nothing yet. We're going to go still on some timber on our way out, and maybe we'll find something there. What's crazy is the stuff that you learn as you go. We found out that those wallows that were at the top of those meadows were actually night wallows after doing some research. The elk use them at night while they're in the meadow itself. The wallows that you look for during the day are up in the timber. Alright, back from town. Went in, got our camp stove fuel. So we're back at the trailhead a little later in the morning. We're going to go try to get back after it. Not sure exactly what our game plan is yet, but we're going to talk that over. We'll figure it out here in a minute. All right, everybody. Our last setup was basically we just set over top of the wallow, but we were up above a seep as well. So from everything I've read, elk will use that seep more than the wallow prior to daylight or prior to darkness. We didn't see anything. We're starting to feel as though we've maybe pressured these elk out of the area a little bit, probably a little deeper into the drainage. So we're gonna back out at least for a day or two. We're gonna go see if we can find some other spots tomorrow that potentially might have elk in them and still be close enough that we can get to them at a reasonable time. So stick with us. We're gonna go try to find some elk tomorrow and see what we can do from there. So as you can see, we're struggling to find the elk. Found all sorts of other animals, but no elk. Please stay tuned. Part 2 of Chasing Ghosts will drop next Friday. Thank you for tuning into this episode. If you do me a huge favor, hit that like and subscribe button, or jump in our mailing list. We'd love to hear from you guys. While you're in that mailing list, please put in there that you'd love to jump in and get Friday field notes. Also follow us on Instagram at Wilderness Wize. We're trying to grow this community 1 mile, 1 step, and 1 hunter at a time. So if you guys are new to hunting and you don't know where to start, or you guys are looking to mentor other hunters, you guys belong here. So until next time, stay wild, stay sharp, and as always, stay wise. We will catch you guys next time.